and welcome to the third lecture about the visage of Balkh in the expanse of history. In previous session, we discussed the emergence of Zoroastrianism in Balkh and the civilization arising from the core of this religion. The Abyssinian civilization indicates the favorable context for the emergence of civilization in Balkh and ancient Aryana. But in this discussion, we see a cultural exchange which makes an ancient Indian and ancient Aryan cultures a kind of religio-cultural mixture to be formed and then spread around. And now the rise of Buddhism, the factors of the emergence. In the 6th century BCE, Brahmanism faced two oppositions, one from within the philosophy of Upanishads and the other from Buddhism and Jainism. Meanwhile, Buddhism has spread to large parts of Asia and the world because of its real-life adaptation. The rise of Buddhism had several factors that paved the way for the emergence and spread of this religion. First, some believe that it was probably the wealth of India that created hedonism and materialism in the 7th and 8th centuries BC. Buddhism and Jainism were religious reactions that confronted the hedonistic ideas of lecherous, prosperous and world-loving class. Second, the philosophical school of Upanishad and the revolutionary philosophy of Charvaka or Lokyata weakened the dominance of Brahmins in the minds of the people, and this led to the emergence of a new religion. Third, the conflict between the two classes of warriors and Brahmins strengthened the formation of a religion, the founders of the two new religions. Buddhism and Jainism, namely Buddha and Mahavira, were both of the Kshatriya class. Fourth, Buddhism as an intellectual movement was there to free the soul pain and in the way of independence of thought and action to liberate man from the sovereignty of Brahmins without observing the caste. Fifth, the Buddha did not accept the philosophy of the Brahmins and completely invalidated their claim of prosperity and salvation being Brahmins' exclusive right, and he implemented a school that had him easily accepted among the other castes. Since the Brahmins had established a caste system and had reserved themselves with various privileges, Buddha rose up to fight the Brahmins, who divided the people into four groups or castes: clerics, warriors, merchants, farmers and workers. So he founded Buddhism. Of course, the support of the kings like Ashoka in India and the Kushan kings in present-day Afghanistan at the time, as well as the tolerance of Buddhism, especially the Mahayana school, played an imperative role in the spread of this religion. Siddhartha Gautama Shakyamuni Buddha, the founder of the Buddhist religion, 563 and 483 BC, was born into a Kshatriya family in present-day Nepal. He got married at a young age and lived in complete comfort and well-being. According to Buddhist tradition, a prognosticator told his father, if Buddha sees the hardship of life, he will run away from home. Therefore, his father built 3 palaces for him, so he could live in those palaces in different seasons of the years and be unaware of the sufferings of life. According to Buddhist tradition, when the Buddha reached at the age of puberty, one day at the age of 29, he asked to leave the palace. While facing the first of the 4 signs of the prognostication, which included an old man, a patient, a human corpse and a monk, Buddha encountered an old man, but since he has never seen an old man, he had no idea that one would one day grow old and worn out. He asked his companions in astonishment, "What is this? Pay attention." The Buddha does not say who, but says what. This means that Buddha did not realize the fact that the other side is a human being and nothing else. Buddha's encounter with this fact greatly impresses him, and he then becomes embroiled in the fact that one day I, like this man, will grow old and worn out. But what is the solution, he asks. Apparently, no one knows anything. The next thing that happens to Buddha after encountering the old man is his running into an ill man who is in great pain and moans. As he expected, Buddha asked his companions what the man's problem was, and his companions told him that the man was ill and in pain. A second flick hits Buddha. That is, man becomes ill and everyone has to endure the pain. Buddha is deeply moved when he sees these two realities and is absorbed in the fact. At this time, a third thing happens. He runs into a corpse. When Buddha sees a crowd weeping and wailing for a coffin, He immediately asks his companions for an explanation. His companions tell him that this man is dead. Buddha for a moment imagines himself in a place of the dead man and thus thinks of the sad reality of life. The notion that we'll all die and end in painful not only for Buddha but for all. The last happenstance is extremely decisive to Buddha. In fact, this is what moves Buddha towards becoming the Buddha, the enlightenment. It's a meeting with a Sharma he referred to as a monk. Buddha observes that the monk, in spite of everything, is in a special peace. It feels like there is no pain for him. After this incident, Buddha decides to leave his home and children and practice asceticism as a traveling monk. Gautama practiced austerity for 7 years under the auspices of the monks, but to no benefits he availed. He renounced austerity and was rebuked by the monks until one night, under a tree known as the tree of knowledge, he suddenly found the secret of salvation and became Buddha, meaning enlightenment, wise, prudent, sage. Afterwards, he was called Buddha. At this time, he discovered 4 truths. 1. Suffering is always there. 2nd, suffering has reasons. 3rd, it can be defeated. And 4th, there is a way to eliminate suffering. Mentioning the above points, Buddha proposed the 8 principles. The 8 principles of Buddha, which state what qualities we should cultivate in ourselves, are as follows. First, honest view. 2nd, the right intention. 3rd, the accurate speech. 4, good deeds. 5, making a living the right way. 6th, the right effort. 7, truthful thought. And 8, precise concentration. According to Buddha, those who believe in the above and practice it in their lives will either not suffer at all or the amount will be very small. Yuval Noah Harari, a proponent of Buddhism in 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, writes that Buddha taught that these are the 3 basic facts of the universe. Everything is constantly changing, nothing has long-lasting essence, and nothing is completely satisfying. The word nirvana in Sanskrit means blowing out, extinguishing, liberation. The term nirvana before Buddha is used as the sense of eternal bliss, and in Buddhism means the last destination of human life. Nirvana is the annihilation of the existence of a person with whom the sufferings and pains that are born of existence are destroyed. It is not possible for man and all beings to reach the supreme goal of nirvana except the progress and the excellence in one's sphere of life. During this unstable existence, the presence is neither completely the same as it was from the beginning, nor it is completely different. By believing in nirvana, the Buddha wanted to free the people of India of the wandering thought of karma and to lead them to the state of obliteration in thoughts through nirvana by observing the moral principles. Either nirvana means the end of presence in non-existence or vice versa. It is the highest degree of perfection of being. According to the Buddha, the world is composed of cyclic life or samsara, which is moving and colliding. He condemned the animal sacrifice and forbade necromancy, and in his congregation rejected the class system. He named his followers as Sangha, meaning noble, and in this naming he puts Aryans and non-Aryans in a row. Anyone who joined his followers was freed from the shackles of the practice and observance of the class or caste principles of Hinduism, and there was no difference between Buddhists, nor they were treated more or less. He gathered with his disciples here and there and settled down, and like the monks in their monastery, they meditated, thought, and served in a special order. As a result of this style and way of life, the organization of a series of monasteries called Sangha inevitably arose, which had strong rules and principles. These rules, which were the same for everyone and were held in complete simplicity, included wearing a yellow robe, shaving one's hair and beard, and holding a begging bowl in one's hand. Buddhism is more like a philosophy than a religion, but its followers gradually turned it into a religion and elevated him, who denied worships of the gods to a deity. They built temples and erected statues of the Buddha in the temples and collected his saying after him. The Buddha gained many followers in his time. Two states of India, one of which was the domicile of his father's kingdom, converted to him and gradually developed. In later times, one of the famous and powerful kings of India, named Ashoka in the 4th century BC, converted to Buddhism and revived his teachings and built many monasteries in his name. Buddhism gained great fame and followers throughout India and was divided into several sects, the most important of which are Hinayana, a small cycle of salvation or nirvana, and the Mahayana, large cycle of salvation nirvana. The philosophy of the formation of these two sects goes back to that phase of the Buddha's life when the Buddha was enlightened. He had two ways to go. One, keep his wisdom with him and drive with nirvana, which would save himself. The second, for the sake of love and sympathy for the other creatures and phenomena, to remain in the world at his own discretion, in order to spread his fruits and wisdom to everyone. These two originated in two groups, Hinayana and Mahayana, during the Kushan Empire between the 3rd and 1st centuries BC. The goal of the Hinayana followers is to liberate oneself, that is, to become a human being and reach a status of arhatship, while the goal of the followers of the Mahayana group is to reach the position bodhisattva in order to free others and save them. They voluntarily refused to reach the position of nirvana and contribute to others. It was the second sect, the Mahayana, that spread in Afghanistan and was main religion of the people of today's Afghanistan until the advent of Islam, especially in the southern, northern, central and eastern regions. The philosophy of this Buddhist sect evolved due to the support of the Kushans in the city of Taxila in present-day Pakistan and spread to the other parts of the world. This was for today. In the next session, we will discuss the spread of Buddhism in Afghanistan. In the next session, we will discuss the spread of Buddhism in Afghanistan. Till then, goodbye. But don't forget to follow our lectures on edX platform.